Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, last night we had the Michigan primary. We're going to give all of our takeaways from this primary in this video. Yet another victory for Donald Trump. Yet another L for the delusional saboteur, Nikki Haley. And also, an underperformance from Joe Biden, arguably, on the Democrat side, as he struggled to crack 80% of his own party, running against literally nobody of note. But still, he went out there and he ended up underperforming expectations. Donald Trump getting more votes than Joe Biden in the state of Michigan. But another record-setting performance on the Republican side for Donald Trump that is indisputable. He got 756,000 votes in the Michigan primary. He won every single county. The returns were coming in early from Oakland County, and Trump wasn't just winning the county, which Haley was hoping to, but he was getting in the mid-60s. And this is with an open primary. This is with crossover voting. We don't know the full number, but still, Donald Trump put up his best performance to date in a primary, aside from Nevada, where Haley was technically not on the ballot. And as you see on screen right here, Trump's vote share is still increasing. When it's all said and done, he's probably going to have closer to 800,000 votes. A very good performance from the former president as he continues to increase his delegate haul. And Haley will stay in until Super Tuesday, but Trump's numbers on Super Tuesday are probably going to be even better than they were in Michigan. Remember, there's only, one state at a time for the most part that Haley's been focusing on. It was New Hampshire, then it was South Carolina. She didn't really focus on Michigan as much as South Carolina. She didn't do all that well. And, all these other states like Texas, etc., Donald Trump is going to go out there and post very big election wins, and he's going to increase his totals. And Haley is probably going to drop out. But honestly, I'm not going to sit back here and say she needs to at this point, because all of the donors on the Republican side have basically cut her off. So at this point, she's taking more resources away from Biden, if anything, because you have a lot of Democrat donors that want to sow division within the Republican primary, and this is what they're doing. They're trying to make Trump appear weaker, despite the fact that Donald Trump went out there and he got 756,000 votes plus in a primary where it's basically locked up in the eyes of many people. I know many people that are going to be voting for Trump in Michigan in November that didn't even bother to turn out for this primary because they know it's a done deal, but still he won big with a ridiculous level of turnout, and he won every single county, including some of these quote-unquote suburban counties. He did very well in Oakland County. He performed the weakest in Washtenaw, which is basically one of Michigan's bluest counties. It might be the bluest county in Michigan this November, but still, even there, which is the home of U of M, University of Michigan, very liberal Ann Arbor, he still won it. Even Grand Rapids, which has been moving away, he still likely ends up with 60% of the vote there when all the votes are counted. I mean, you look at this. Kalamazoo, he even got close to 60% there. Same thing with Ingham County, which is where Lansing is. A lot of more establishment Republicans live there, and it's a very liberal county. But still, Donald Trump went out there, swept the board, got nearly 70% of the vote. Nikki Haley's down there at 26.6. I actually predicted Trump would get 68.5%. He came very close to my prediction in the state of Michigan. You absolutely love to see it. But on the Democrat side, things look a little bit shaky for Joe Biden. Yes, he won. Yes, he got 80% of the vote, but still, the uncommitted vote. You have a lot of voters in Michigan who are not fond of Biden's performance, whether it's because the country's in total shambles and even they can see it, or if it's because of the fact that they don't like the way he's handled the Israeli-Palestine conflict. A lot of Muslim voters are upset. A lot of younger voters as well are upset too about Joe Biden. They may not turn out for him in this November election, and that's a major problem. Dearborn alone, Joe Biden lost Dearborn to uncommitted. He lost Hamtramck to uncommitted, these Muslim-heavy areas. Biden's not seeing the turnout that he would like to see. and it's a major problem. Wayne County not cracking 80% of the vote. That was one of his strongest counties in the 2020 Democrat primary against Bernie Sanders. But did it exactly, show that he's in a strong position this time around? No, it did not. Uncommitted got delegates in Michigan last night. Uncommitted got 100,000 votes. Marianne Williamson, who's not even in the race, even though she jumped back in this morning, she got 3% of the vote. She got 23,000 votes. Dean Phillips, who's basically nowhere to be found, got almost 3% of the vote. So this is a key swing state. And Joe Biden has over 140,000 Democrats that decided to vote against him in the primary. That is not a very good sign. Obama in 2012, you had 10% go, uncommitted, and you could say he won the state in November, but he lost 8% of ground. Biden this time around, that 140,000, that's basically his margin of victory in 2020. If you take that away from him, that's not a good sign for Biden, especially because Donald Trump went out there, and even though he had more opposition, he went out there and he still got more votes in the Republican primary than Joe Biden got in the Democrat primary, and there was a push for people to vote for Biden because uncommitted was gaining traction. And still, when it comes down to it, Democrats were crossing over. We don't know the full number, that's true, but it's an open primary. A lot of Haley's votes came from Biden 2020 voters because that's the way it's been in New Hampshire and South Carolina. And I'm sure, yes, some establishment Republicans are in the mix too. A lot of them will end up voting for Trump. But what Republicans were crossing over to vote uncommitted on the Democrat side? Very, very few were doing so. These were more Democrat voters. These were Muslim voters. These were younger voters, voters that were upset with Biden's handling of the state of affairs in this country and in foreign conflicts abroad. Not exactly a very good look for Joe Biden, seeing that high uncommitted number. It's never been that high in a contested primary. I think 2008 it was pretty high, but that was because Obama was not on the ballot. So when you see uncommitted doing this well, when you have an incumbent president, that's awful. Donald Trump in 2020, he got 93% of the vote in the Republican primary. Uncommitted got below 5%. I mean, you're looking at that there. Trump got 640,000 votes. Biden didn't even crack that as an incumbent, and the uncommitted total was higher. You had higher turnout, and still Biden couldn't get that Trump number or even close to the Trump percentage. That's not a very good sign for Biden in regards to his reelection bid. It's not. And Donald Trump's in a very strong position, and that we know. We have more primaries on the way. You see the Idaho caucus, Missouri, North Dakota, D.C. That's all before Super Tuesday. And then we get to Super Tuesday. California's there. Texas is there. A lot of these big primary states, including some close primaries as well, where Trump is likely going to get like in the 80s, if not closer to 90% of the vote. This is not looking good for Nikki Haley. She has no business staying in the race, but still she is staying in the race. And Donald Trump is just going to keep winning these primaries by a lot. Nikki Haley is just going to be that sacrificial lamb for the neocons to pretend like they have opposition to Trump, to pretend that they're actually out there doing something. But even in these open primaries, Haley can't even crack 30% of the vote at this point. What does that exactly tell you? It tells you that this race is over and that we know Trump's in a good position. Biden's got a little bit of ground that he has to kind of make up there. And he's managed to have both sides of this conflict in the Middle East turn on him. That's not a good sign. Any single move that he makes from this point forward, he's going to lose support in one way or another. It's not really a good look for Biden altogether. And you see that right here. So Michigan's a very key state for 2024. Donald Trump doing well, getting more votes than Biden, getting roughly 70% of the vote in an open primary. That's a good sign, especially when you look at the fact that Biden, he's kind of appearing like he's a little weak there on the Democrat side. And because you have that lack of enthusiasm for Biden, but more enthusiasm for Donald Trump, the cope from a lot of these people is Trump's only getting 70% of the vote as like a quasi-incumbent or whatever, but Biden is the incumbent president, and Trump's still getting more raw votes altogether than Biden, and Trump has serious opposition. donor-backed opposition, opposition that has name recognition in the party, in Nikki Haley, getting this free media tour, getting all these crossover voters and true independents, whatever. It's not looking good for her if she's not even able to crack 30% in an open primary in a key state. Donald Trump's still performing better than Biden by 150,000 votes or so. By their own logic, if they're both incumbents, he's still doing very, very well. And that we know, especially because Donald Trump's own voter base is less likely to turn out for primaries, given the fact that they are lower propensity, but he's still going out there and doing that. Absolutely huge. Donald Trump, he's sweeping the board. He may win every single state in the primary at this point. And we'll continue to watch these other swing states. He's likely going to set a lot of records on Super Tuesday. And he's looking to build momentum and unite the party so he can win in November, get in the White House, and get things done, which is going to be a lot easier potentially now because Mitch McConnell is stepping down from his post as Senate Minority Leader this November. You're going to have a new Majority Leader when Republicans likely retake the majority come January. And that's going to be absolutely huge. But that video is going to come tomorrow. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.